Miguel Williams says the officers activated the taser in front of his nephew multiple times, like this, before then tasing him a total of 4 times in the side and the chest. The Car Care Council says there are 3 symptoms of pothole damage. 1. The car is pulling to the left or right. 2. Low tire pressure. 3. Uneven tire wear. This is just one of the 8 cameras that helped to capture the video when Giles was robbed here at gunpoint. With some seeing this law as an anti-discrimination act, others see it as the opposite. During school hours, the doors remain locked. The only way to gain access to the building is by pressing this button, standing in front of the camera, and then the office decides to unlock the doors. These stickers began circulating throughout the Jackson area, and through social media, their popularity has grown throughout the state of Mississippi and even to other states. 12 recipients of this packet, and they receive it each month. That's 144 of these packets. We're here on scene on Raceway Road where a car was set on fire in the ditch. This occurred sometime early this morning. Right now, all we know is it is a black 4-door Pontiac Grand Am. We'll let you know more details at 5. Breaking news, a fire sparked at the 1100 block of Lord Street. Details at 5. Here at the Greenwood Air Show, not only can people take a look at all of the planes, but they can take a ride as well. Distracted driving, we think of obviously, texting, things like that, but also being sleepy.
Right.
That's very distracted. I want to help change that perception. Beauty has nothing to do with size, body type, or a number on a scale. Weight is typically a taboo subject to talk about when among women. So, that's why I am stepping on the scale. That way, I can show you that there's no reason to be ashamed. You can be healthy no matter what you look like or weigh. Okay, and I don't weigh myself, so I really don't know. I know how tight my jeans are.
And you are 177.4.
177.4. So that is the starting weight. We will come back to me in a month, about 6 weeks.
Right, yes.
And we have 6 weeks to start our healthy life.
Starting to
Change our lives.
Change our life. And
Changing
before
our
we
lives.
announce this, we're going to talk about what we are going to do and what you're going to do. What we'd love for you to join us on in the next 6 weeks. This law prohibits the government from taking action against individuals or groups for exercising their religious viewpoints. Of Senate Bill 2681 say it gives businesses license to discriminate. Members of the religious community think this bill is necessary to protect their freedom.
Specifically prohibits the government from discriminating against people of faith, all right, and in living out that faith, not just holding opinions, but in actually the way they practice their faith. So it prohibits discrimination against that, and the government specifically says may not impose a substantial burden on the exercise of religion without a compelling purpose.
Christians see this law as being a good move by the state.
I see this law being very freedom-centric, and that's a good thing. Our country is based on that we have freedom of religion, that we have freedom of speech. It's what makes us distinct. So I think when we look at a bill or a law that's freedom-centric like this one is, it's a good thing that we uphold freedom for everyone.
The law says that the government cannot penalize and cannot discriminate against individuals or groups because of religious views, even if they're abhorrent to the authorities. While the bill was being debated, a pastor from a Holly Springs church testified. He told the story of his particular case where his church needed a new location. But the city of Holly Springs had a city ordinance which prohibited a church from buying property without approval from neighbors.
The church had to get 60% of the permission from the surrounding landowners. This ordinance only applied to churches. It didn't apply to strip clubs. It didn't apply to a sex shop. It applied strictly to churches.
The Holly Springs pastor pushed for the Religious Freedom Restoration Act to become a law to provide protection for Christians.
I think this law gives believers, whoever it might be, confidence to know that as they are conducting business in the state of Mississippi, as they're going about their daily life, as they're just being a citizen within our society, that their exercise of religion is protected, and they have that freedom, and it's a unique privilege. As I said earlier, many people around the world do not have this freedom of religion, and it's something that we as the church and we as followers of Jesus should not take for granted.
People both for and against the law believe the other side wants to discriminate, but the truth will not be known until after the law goes into effect on July 1st. Reporting live in the studio, I'm Callie Carroll. Renee, back to you.
They're the men and women on the front lines. Every day they put their lives at risk. This month, the State Department of Transportation is reminding drivers to slow down and pay more attention on the road. Work Zone Safety Month is a national initiative designed to promote public awareness on the dangers of driving distracted and speeding through work zones.
What we need to do is understand that we need to slow down when we get into these work zones and think about these guys that's out there, guys and women that's out there working.
According to MDOT, in 2012, 32,000 workers and motorists were injured nationwide. 130 of those incidents were workers who were fatally injured.
Being a worker, you could be charged with a felony crime if there's any kind of intent or anything like that involved. But there's also fines will double if you get caught speeding or reckless driving or careless driving or anything like that through work zones.
Work zones can present an unfamiliar situation to drivers. Changes in traffic patterns, closed or narrowed lanes, and the presence of construction equipment and personnel can cause challenges for motorists as they travel through work zones.
Remember, these men and women are out there working to keep you on the road, to keep you going every day.
MDOT is encouraging motorists to go orange this April for Work Zone Safety Month.
They work each and every day as hard as they can to keep things moving for each and every one of us.
To improve safety in work zones, motorists are advised to keep their eyes on the road at all times. Pay attention to signs and cones, slow down, and be prepared to stop at any time. A new word for your vocabulary: vaping. Vaping is an alternative to smoking, but instead of smoking a traditional cigarette, you smoke a battery-powered electronic cigarette. The FDA wants to regulate who can buy e-cigarettes and what's in them. The agency has a proposal to require manufacturers to register their products and report the ingredients. Delta Vapors has 4 ingredients making up the juice in the company's product: propylene glycol, vegetable glycerin, flavoring, and a variable level of nicotine.
All of our juices are made in South Mississippi in a lab by a chemist.
The FDA also wants to prohibit the sale of e-cigarettes to anyone under 18. The state of Mississippi has already done that.
If you come in, we're going to card you.
Yes.
And
You
then-
have to be 18 to even go to the juice bar, which none of our samples that you sample has nicotine in it, but you still have to be 18 before you can even try it.
Because the e-cigarettes come in a wide variety of colors and designs, Delta Vapors warns its customers to be responsible with the product.
Whenever my grandkids are around, it's very important to always turn your device off because, you know, it does look like a pen and you don't want them to grab it thinking it was a pen or something like that because, you know, it does contain nicotine. And, you know, nicotine is harmful, so you want to keep it away from your pets and your children.
On its website, the Tobacco Vapor Electronic Cigarette Association says it supports responsible regulation of the industry, and the owners of Delta Vapors agree.
I think the more education that people get about vaping, I think it will eventually, maybe not in our lifetime, but be accepted.
Reporting in Greenville, I'm Callie Carroll, WXVT Delta News.